As we move into getting started, we have a ton more chairs up here. Please come sit. Move in a little closer, squeeze in, because more folks will start pulling in from the outside. Can everyone hear me okay at this distance?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. My name's Laura. I am a nurse and an organizer with Cayuga United. I work in the emergency department.
And I'm Erin, and I'm a nurse in the operating room and an organizer as well.
Yes, I'm so excited to see a bunch of nurses here and a lot of community support. This has been a really amazing and it feels like a rocket ship journey that has been cruising hard from the get-go. That started with a small number of us trying to figure out who was interested and what's going on, and as soon as that door cracked open, turns out that nurses have been really ready for a change and to take action and make our community feel safer and more supported, and the support from those of you in the community has also just really bolstered this movement. So Erin and I are going to be carrying you through this rally, this next little bit of time, and we wanted to start by sharing why we are excited to organize with CWA and what we're hoping to achieve. Do you want to start?
So a couple of reasons, a lot of reasons, but I'll just say a couple. One is I really think it's so important for nurses to be retained, for retention at the hospital, not only because we need mentors, but also a consistency of team, a consistency of knowledge, but also a feeling of community and taking care of our own community. I don't want to have to work in Syracuse just to feel supported, have the right working environment or higher wages. I want to stay right here. I've been here at the hospital for 23 years and I grew up here, and I just think that's really important. Another thing I'm really excited about, because I know people have been asking about, well, what are we excited to do? And being in the OR, we have different patient safety issues and needs. And one of the things that a lot of OR and PACU nurses are really passionate about changing is our on-call amounts and limits. And not only limits, but then also working towards a certain amount of time after you've been working that you don't have to come back to work, because it's not unusual in our situation to work a 10 or 12-hour shift, be on call overnight, get called in overnight for X amount of hours, and then have to work another 10 or 12-hour shift the next day. They do try to let us go home early if the caseload isn't, tremendous, but it's definitely not a guarantee that you're going to be able to go home early. And that's something that not only affects us and our work-life balance, retention again, but also our ability to take care of our patients. Piggybacking off of that, one of the things that our administration has been doing to union bust is basically trying to divide us and say that, like, oh, well, this specialty unit isn't going to be able to get the things that they want because they're only like 5% of the nursing workforce or something like that. But to that, I just want to say that we've seen nursing contracts. There's specific verbiage for different units, different types of nurses, and that while we're not going to all get exactly what we want, we can probably get a lot more than what we have right now. And speaking as a having a collective voice feels like the only way that we're going to be able to do that, because they certainly don't listen to us much as individuals. So I'm looking forward to the vote on Wednesday and Thursday, and I just want all of the nurses here and everyone, and I do thank you for all of your support, but all the nurses here to encourage your fellow nurses to actually vote yes, of course, because the more of us that, actually show up and get our votes tallied, the more power we're going to have to be able to make our work life safer and more fulfilling. And yeah, that's it.
For myself, there are so many things I'm excited about. I work in the emergency department, like I said, so probably treated many of you and your family members and your loved ones. And as you all have experienced and seen, emergency departments everywhere struggle. But ours, with better staffing and a stronger workforce and better resources at our disposal and less staff turnover, I have faith that we will be able to serve our community in a more robust way. I'm excited about that. And then on a very personal note that also is about my community, my partner and I are going to be using Cayuga Medical Center to have our baby very, very shortly. So yeah, I'm very excited that some of our labor and delivery nurses are here. And you all know a hospital should be a place where you go for these milestones in your life and you feel supported, you feel loved. You don't have to worry about whether your nurses are getting a break. And we get to bear witness to these very important moments in people's lives, and that's what we want to be doing. That's why we became nurses, and we want to continue letting that be our focus rather than letting the strain of short staffing and exhaustion be our focus. So with that, we have several people who are going to say some words today. I want to start by bringing up Adam Hart from the Tompkins County Workers Center. The Workers Center has been monumental in helping support us in this unionizing effort. So Adam, take it away from here.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for coming out. This is an awesome crowd. I'm so happy so many people showed up. And showed up early too, that's great. So as I said, my name is Adam. I'm with the Tompkins County Workers Center. It's been really inspiring to work in solidarity with CWA and the nurses. It's been really awesome to see them fight back against the horrific union busting that's been going on. Watching them struggle against captive meetings, struggle against these dividing tactics that they're holding, has been really awesome. They know what they need, and they're not scared to ask for it and stand together. Sorry, I'm always nervous to speak publicly. So the nurses know that the community here stands with them. At the first county legislature meeting of the year, there was a resolution unanimously passed to support Cayuga United, support their right to unionize. The community showed up in numbers I've never seen in those chambers. That was incredible. We can usually turn people out for city, but that was wild to see so many people. And that was reiterated throughout the meeting. So many people were amazed at how many community members show up for our nurses. Because we as a community know that these are the people that keep us safe. These are the people that keep us healthy. They're on the front lines of not only the political nonsense that's going on at the federal level, but also local health crises. And they stand here and support us. We as a community have shown up for several rallies. We've sent hundreds of emails to CEO Rob Lawless. We have about 750 signatures on a petition, which is awesome. Yeah, 750. And if you haven't signed it, there are QR codes in the back. Please, this is the last chance to send an email to Rob or sign the petition. We're going to be delivering them tomorrow to Rob. So if you're also interested in showing up for that, find me afterwards. We can get you looped in. But yeah, this is we're going to be demanding in the petition, in the letter, it's demanding that Rob stop his union busting and states that the community stands in support of the workers. Ithaca is a union town through and through, and we will continue to stand and fight alongside our workers and our nurses. Because when we fight, we win! When we fight, we win!
Thank you, John, and thank you for all of your support. We really appreciate it. I know the Workers Center has been a resource for numerous people in the community. So. Our next speaker is Jorge DiVendini. He is Common Council Alderman from Ward 1. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Jorge DiVendini. As was said, I'm the alderperson representing the First Ward on the Ithaca Common Council. I'm also a proud member of the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades. So it's good to be here in this hall with so many union brothers and sisters, both present and future. I want to start off with a little story, if you'll humor me. Back in 2020, just as the COVID-19 pandemic was ravaging our community, I was dealing with an entirely different medical issue. I needed to have my appendix removed. After hobbling all the way to Cornell Health, they told me there was nothing they could do for me there, and I would have to go all the way to Cayuga Medical Center. A few hours later, I was at CMC, waking up from surgery and feeling incredibly embarrassed at how many times I had told the nurses, wow, thank you, I feel so much better, you guys are so great. I was still very much processing the anesthesia. But that was how I honestly felt, both then and in the days after during my recovery. Despite dealing with the overwhelming stress and burnout that COVID-19 was putting them through, the nurses of CMC showed kindness, compassion, and provided me with everything that I needed to get better. So I just want to take this moment to extend a thank you to our Cayuga medical nurses for the care you gave me. We are truly lucky to have the nurses that we have in our community. The work they do to keep us healthy and cared for is one of the reasons why they deserve to form a union at work. But you don't have to take it from me. Here's what Cayuga Medical Center had to say about our nurses on their webpage titled Union Activity, What the Community Should Know. Nurses across every Centralis health facility have driven meaningful change, strengthening patient outcomes, elevating safety, and advancing the connection between the science of clinical excellence and the art of compassionate care. They've strengthened our workforce, advanced nursing excellence, improved outcomes, and elevated the patient and family experience. What a ringing endorsement of their workers. I couldn't have said why these nurses deserve a union any better. It's a shame that the rest of this page is filled with fear-mongering anti-union propaganda, no doubt created with the help from their union busing advisors from LRI Consulting. Here are some of my favorite parts, though. Unions don't have to run for re-elections like politicians do. Would you buy a car without taking it for a test drive? And finally, it was difficult to track which issues and which politicians the unions jointly support. Well, since we're talking about democracy and spending that is difficult to track, I have some questions for the nurses in the audience. Have you ever had a say in what CMC has spent its millions and millions of dollars on? No. Did you get a vote on who was going to be your boss or your boss's boss? Would you have supported spending thousands of dollars on consultants to help management stop you from trying to unionize? And did you get to take a test drive contracting with a tech company whose CEO just so happens to be the same CEO as Cayuga Medical? I didn't think so. I imagine you all would have rather spent the money on the nurses who actually care for our community and our hospitals. Management of CMC paints a lovely picture on their consultant advised website, but you just need to talk to any of the CMC nurses to get the real truth. Cayuga Medical is not a democracy. Not yet, at least. That is why we are supporting these nurses in their struggle for a union. Unions give workers a voice in their workplaces. They force management to take workers seriously, and they turn requests into demands. And since CMC seems very concerned with the prospect of democracy, they should be delighted to learn that a supermajority of their nurses, nearly 75%, support unionization. And so I'll end with this. I'm eternally grateful for the care I received from the nurses of CMC. I know that many of you in this crowd feel the same way. These nurses have had our backs when we needed it most. And so, as one of their future union brothers, I say that we all need to practice solidarity and have their backs, and hopefully soon, the backs of all Centralis health nurses when they need it most. Solidarity to the Cayuga medical nurses, and solidarity forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. Next, we get to hear from one of our very own. So as Jorge pointed out, we get bragged about because we do a fantastic job. And sometimes with very few resources. One of the recent things that we should be bragging about and that our hospital has certainly enjoyed sharing is that we track our skin integrity and our pressure injuries at the hospital, and those numbers were fantastic recently, all thanks to the work of the nurses. And those that they work with and who support the nurses as well, and making sure we have resources, time to do that. That project is very strongly led by our wound care nurse who is here somewhere. Shane, come on up. Brag a little about yourself if you want to, otherwise I will for Shane Smith.
Hello. Woo! Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Cool. All right. So my name's Shane, like Laura said. I'm an RN at Cayuga Medical Center. I'm not a floor nurse anymore. Like she said, I'm the wound nurse for the hospital now, but I remember my roots. I started out on 4 North, which is our medical unit, and I got burnt out very, very quickly. I know what it's like to work those 13 or more hour shifts. Here's the math. If you have a group of 5 patients, which is supposed to be our standard ratio on the medical floors, that means that you get 12 minutes per patient per hour, which is not very much. And this includes time spent at the bedside, directly in contact with the patient, doing their assessment and dressing changes, checking blood sugars, administering meds, helping clean up their incontinence. But it's a lot more than that. It's walking between rooms, all the charting, calling pharmacy for the millionth time, sending updates to doctors, talking to worried family members, running to the room of a patient who's not part of your group because their bed alarm's going off, and then helping them off the floor if they fall. Also, everything is beeping all the time. Somewhere in there, you yourself need to drink water and visit the restroom, and probably too late in the day, maybe take a lunch break, which is probably interrupted by phone calls. 12 minutes per patient per hour. It's not a lot, but it's what you have. If you add another patient, that time goes down. 6 patients, 10 minutes. 7 patients, a little over 8.5 minutes to do the same amount of care per patient. And this is not even considering overall patient acuity or if there's a code or rapid response. Research shows that when there are more patients per nurse, hospital-acquired conditions, like pressure injuries, happen more often. Preventing hospital-acquired pressure injuries is a large part of what I do, and it's something I care very, very deeply about. So I'm not a floor nurse anymore, but I empathize viscerally with what they experience daily, and their staffing ratios have a very direct impact on one of the core pieces of my own work. When we say we need a union contract to ensure safe staffing and appropriate ratios, this is what we mean. Patient care is the heart of what we do, and we want to do it safely. It's about more than that, of course. We do this to get new nurses a good, solid orientation that isn't cut short because of staffing ratios. We fight for equity in pay for seniority. We unionize so that there will no longer be favoritism of management showing flexibility to one person over another. It's to get the first cost of living adjustment that we have had in years. It's for our insurance, for our lost PTO buyback, maybe get raises beyond that cost of living adjustment. It's so people can have an actual, real, full 30 minutes to eat in peace while someone else takes their phone calls. And so the floor won't be understaffed while that happens. We are building a better future for all of our nurses, those now and the ones who are going to come after us. We do this so that we are not subject to the whims of managements and buyouts as things change, because things will change. People come and go, but there will always be patients in the hospital. There will always be nurses to take care of those patients. And when we win our election this coming week, we can start work on our contract that will support and take care of the nurses at Cayuga Medical Center so they can provide safe, quality care for our community. Our effort to unionize has made a community and camaraderie grow among nurses across shifts and across units in a way that I have never seen anything else do. This has truly brought nurses of all stripes together, and it's really beautiful to be part of. So we have many, many reasons that we are fighting for. And when we fight, we win. Thank you.
I forgot I was hoping I'm seeing for a second there. So, our next guest is John Tavares, and he is from UAW 2300. Right when he came in today, I immediately went up to him and I was like, "You spoke at the legislature, didn't you?" And because you are one of my favorite speakers, they were all amazing. And as Laura was saying, the community's support has been just so warming and important to all of us. So thank you all for being here. But I'll let you do your thing because what you said last time really touched me.
I'm John Tavares, president of Local 2300. We represent 1,800 members across Cornell, TCAT, Tompkins County Public Library, Finger Lakes Library System, Bolton Point Water Supply, and Ithaca Housing Authority. Brothers, sisters, friends, and neighbors, thank you for being here. We are here today because something deeply important is happening in our community. This week, the nurses at Cayuga Medical Center are voting on whether they deserve a real voice on the job. And that vote should belong to them, not to the corporate consultants, not to hospital executives, and not to fear campaigns. But instead of respecting that, what did CMC do? They covered the walls with posters telling nurses that if they vote for a union, they could lose their pay, lose their benefits, lose their jobs, and even be replaced. This is not information, this is intimidation. And when a hospital has to scare its own nurses to keep control, it tells you everything you need to know about the power imbalance inside those walls. Nurses don't organize because they want conflict. They organize because they are stretched to the breaking point, because staffing is unsafe, because burnout is real, because patient care is being put at risk by understaffing and turnover. And instead of fixing those problems, CMC's leadership is spending money on union busting instead of bedside care. That should make every person in this community angry, because when nurses are fighting for safe staffing, they're fighting for all of us. They're fighting for your parents, your kids, your neighbors, and your friends. And the community noticed. The Tompkins County Legislature voted unanimously to stand with these nurses. Not left, not right, everyone. That means this isn't political. It's moral. It means people across the county see the same thing that the nurses see. That healthcare workers deserve respect and not retaliation. And that's why this weekend matters so much. That's why the petition matters. That's why emails flooding the CEO's inbox matter. Every signature tells Cayuga Medical Center you don't get to run this hospital by fear. Every email tells them this community is watching. And when management realizes the public is watching, everything changes. So if you haven't signed the petition, do it today. If you've already signed it, share it. Send the email. Bring someone else into this fight, because this vote belongs to the nurses. And when nurses win a voice, patients win safer care, workers win dignity, and communities win a hospital that answers to the people it serves, not just the people in the boardroom.
Thank you so much, John. That was inspiring. Up next, we're going to introduce another one of our very own nurses. This nurse, pretty much anyone who's gone through TC3, which is our primary local nursing program, or has started on 4 North, which was the unit where I had the privilege of getting my start, has been mentored in some way by this nurse. She's been part of this fight since the beginning, and she was part of our unionizing effort 10 years ago. Jackie Thompson.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm just going to warn you, I am way outside my comfort zone. All right, I don't do public speaking, so if I'm shaking a little bit, that's why. So thank you, Laura. Yes, my name is Jackie Thompson, and I am a nurse at Cayuga Medical Center. I started working there as a nursing assistant in 2011. I became a nurse in 2012, and I've been on the 4th floor the entire time. I've seen a lot of changes at the hospital, from going from a small community hospital to now being one of 5 facilities with one umbrella organization. And most likely that's going to be getting bigger. And during all that time, the layers between the decision makers and the nurses keeps growing. So nursing was a late in life career change for me, and I became a nurse because I believe in caring for people at their most vulnerable moments. I believe in advocacy, in dignity, and in the idea that healthcare should be driven by compassion, not profits. But today I'm standing here to say something hard and honest. Caring isn't enough if the system we work in is broken. Nurses are exhausted, we are understaffed, overworked, and expected to do more with less. Less support, less protection, and too often less respect. We are asked to absorb impossible workloads and moral distress, and then told to be resilient when the damage becomes visible. And a nurses' union isn't about being confrontational. It is about being a collective. It is about having a real voice in decisions that affect patient care and nurse safety. Right now, too many decisions about health care are made without nurses at the table, even though we are the ones at the bedside 24/7. We're the ones who notice when staffing is unsafe and when burnout is pushing good nurses out. And when we are at the table, we don't always feel safe speaking up or that our concerns are taken seriously. A union gives us protected advocacy. It means safe staffing ratios aren't just suggestions. It means fair wages that reflect our training, responsibility, and risk. It means mental health support, safe working conditions, and the ability to speak up without fear of retaliation when something isn't right. The weeks since we filed in early December have been rough. Despite their promises, there was nothing neutral about the hospital's reaction to our efforts to organize. We have endured weeks of meetings around the clock, strategically staffed by leadership and a very expensive outside firm which brags about its success in crushing worker efforts. They call themselves the Persuaders. We have received countless anti-union text messages on our personal phones via a shift scheduling software. This is how we find out if there's a need for nurses in the hospital, how we can respond to that need. But instead, all these messages forced many of us to opt out, and this impacts our ability to pick up shifts and ensure we are staffed appropriately. Some of us have attended work-related meetings only to be ambushed by anti-union speech. We have been approached by administrators who we have never seen before and will most likely never see again. If you know me, you know I don't shy away from telling our leadership how I feel and what I think. However, asking me during my shift when I'm on a busy floor is not the time. It is illegal for the hospital to keep tabs on our staff's level of support for the union, but some people have been targeted for extra attention. Those staff members are getting personal emails and texts. They're being approached by management on the floor and behind closed doors, and they're being asked by their bosses to speak on behalf of the hospital. This is wrong. And we have seen a barrage of flyers with misleading information about unions that explicitly tell us to vote no. My message to CMC, this is not neutrality. And throughout all of this, we still show up every day and care for patients. We continue to pick up extra shifts and work overtime. We continue to support each other so that we can do our jobs, because this is who we are. CMC will need to work hard to earn back our trust, and I can only hope that they come to the bargaining table beginning next week in good faith. I don't know what surprises leadership has in store for us over the next day or so, but this week is really special because this week we have a vote. This week we get a chance to decide what our future looks like. And this vote is not just a piece of paper or a box to check. It's a decision about whether we continue hoping things will change or whether we choose to make that change ourselves. table. It's voting for safer staffing. It's voting for nurse retention instead of constant turnover. And it's voting to protect new nurses, experienced nurses, and the patients who depend on us. And this is not just a nurses issue. This is a community issue. As others have pointed out, there is a lot of evidence that when nurses are stretched too thin, call lights go unanswered longer. When staffing is unsafe, errors increase. When experienced nurses burn out, mentorship disappears. But when nurses are supported, patients are safer. Care improves and communities thrive. We're not asking for special treatment. We are asking for fair treatment. We are asking for partnership instead of silence. And we're asking for a healthcare system that values the people who hold it together. So to my colleagues, this week when you vote, remember why you became a nurse. Remember your hardest shift, the patients you couldn't get to fast enough because you had too many others, and the coworkers who left because they were burned out and felt unsupported. Remember all the tears that have been shed and all the long days we worked through lunches and breaks because we had no relief. This vote is how we stand up for ourselves, for each other, and most importantly for our patients. Because caring for others should not require sacrificing ourselves. The silence has cost us too much already, and because of our patients and our community deserve better. And finally, because nurses together are powerful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. And I know you always say that you don't like to talk, but every time you do, you are amazing. Our next speaker is Iris Packlin. She's the county legislature for District 3, and she also is the one that brought forth the resolution to support Cayuga United nurses and unionizing. And that was really powerful, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone who came to the legislature meeting on Tuesday night. We have 16 legislators, 3 are Republicans, 13 are Democrats, and you all filled the chambers so that anyone who was on the fence, any doubters, any Republican, unequivocally voted yes, and that's because of you guys. So thank you for showing up. As one of my colleagues, Irene, who's here, said, she felt like democracy was back after that. And we've all really needed to feel like that. And you guys showing up and then your election coming up, that is giving us hope again. And I think that's a really important theme, right? We have a lot of gratitude in the room, a lot of hope and joy. And right now, I think we're all looking for that, for sources of joy and to be able to say thank you. I also want to pivot to another emotion that I'm feeling, and I think a lot of us are feeling, which is anger. Okay, I don't think we can ignore the gender dynamic that is at play when you have mostly female staff trying to organize and speak out, and mostly male administration and their hired lackeys to come and try to show up and intimidate you and tell you not to speak out, try to silence you, try to stop you from working together. And that is a theme that unfortunately we're seeing play out here, but also at the national level, right? I'm talking about Minneapolis, for example. And this is really sobering when we think about it in that context, but that is why they are so scared of you. They are scared because you are coming together and building your power. And they're trying to silence you, but it's not working. And so those men in suits are actually terrified. And that is really cool to see that you have more power than they do, because you all are together. You're almost 300 people coming together and making this decision. And so I want you to know that we see you, and as your momentum is building heading into this week, we are behind you. You can call on us. We're here. We love our nurses so much. And we got your back. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next, I'm going to invite our local president, Nikki Adams, to say a few words. We are on the verge of joining a powerful local union, CWA 1111, which gives chills. I don't know what else to say. I'll let you take it.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Adams. I'm the president of CWA Local 1111. I have been a proud union member for 29 years. I am the daughter of a proud union member as well. He was a glazer for 50 years. So I've got a lot of union in my background. Nurses are the heart of patient care. You show up every day with skill, compassion, and professionalism, often under challenging conditions and enormous pressure. You advocate for your patients when they are at their most vulnerable, and too often you do so without having the support you deserve. That is why this moment matters. It is time someone advocates for you. By joining the union, you are gaining more than representation. You are gaining a collective voice, a voice that speaks louder together than any one person could ever do alone, a voice that demands safe staffing, fair schedules, respect on the job, and working conditions that allow you to provide the highest quality care. When nurses have a strong voice, patients benefit, workplaces improve, and communities are stronger. Each nurse by themselves is a whisper. Together, we are a roar, a movement that cannot be ignored or denied. You've all proved that. You are also joining a community that has your back, a community of working people who believe in fairness, dignity, and standing up for one another. When challenges arise, whether at the bedside, in the workplace, or at the bargaining table, you will not be standing alone. Your coworkers, your local, and your union will be standing with you. Our local is excited and proud to welcome nurses into the union. Your experience, leadership, and dedication strengthens all of us. You bring true energy, new perspectives, and a deeper understanding of what it truly means to care for others. Together, we will build a union that reflects the values of compassion, professionalism, and solidarity. Being part of a union means believing that respect should never be optional. It means knowing that your work has value and that your voice matters. It means understanding the real challenge happens when workers stand together and look out for one another. Today is just the beginning. Together, we will advocate for safer workplaces, stronger contracts, and a better future, not only for nurses, but every worker who relies on this union. So today we say welcome to the solidarity, welcome to collective strength, welcome to a community that will stand beside you, fight for you, and celebrate with you. CWA Local 1111 cannot be any more proud of you for your courage and your dedication, your tenacity and your persistence, your strength for not only each other, but also for the community that you serve. We often fight harder for our family than we do for ourselves. Your fight is our fight, and we won't back down. We cannot wait to welcome you to CWA Local 1111 and sit shoulder to shoulder with you at the bargaining table, because we all know when we fight, we win!
Thanks, Nikki. We're really looking forward to this too. We have another CWA representative here. Her name is Nikki Turner. And rumor has it that she's going to be at the negotiating table with us. So.
Hi, everyone. I have to speak in the public, but I'm going to go with Jackie and say I hate this. I'm not going to lie. My name is Nikki Turner. I am the staff representative for CWA. I will be co-chair at the table with Deborah Hayes. Deborah Hayes is the area director. She is an RN. I am a non-practicing LPN. So you will have two nurses sitting at the head of the table with you guys to get to I want to start by saying this. What you're doing right now matters. On Wednesday and Thursday, you're not just casting a vote. You're standing up for your profession, your patients, and yourselves. You're deciding what kind of voice you want at work, not just today, but for years to come. Every single nurse in this room knows what it means to carry responsibility. You make life and death decisions. You advocate when patients can't. You hold families together on the hardest days of their lives. And yet, too often, the people who do this work are expected to stay quiet when it comes to staffing, safety, wages, and respect. The election is about changing that. The union is not a third party. A union is you. Your voices, your experiences, your priorities. coming together so that decisions are no longer made about nurses without nurses at the table. Some of you have been here for years, some of you are newer to the profession. You may work different units, different shifts, different schedules. Your issues may not look exactly the same, and that's okay. One of the most powerful things about having a union is that it recognizes that no two units are identical, and no nurse should be treated like a number. Through bargaining surveys, unit-based input, and nurse-led bargaining committee, you get to identify what matters most, whether that's staffing ratios, floating language, wages, PTO, education, differentials, or protections around scheduling and burnout. This is not about someone else telling you what to fight for. This is about you deciding together what you need to do your job safely and professionally. Right now, the most important step is simple, but powerful. Vote. Vote yes for a seat at the table. Vote yes for transparency. Vote yes for protections that don't disappear with management changes. Vote yes for respect written into enforceable language. You are not asking for anything unreasonable. You are asking for what every nurse deserves. A safe workplace, fair compensation, and a real voice in decisions that affect patient care. On Wednesday and Thursday, walk into that voting booth with confidence. Know that you are standing on the strength of each other. Know that what you are doing is not just for yourselves, but for the nurses who come after you and the patients who depend on you every single day. When you win this union, because you're going to win, the real work begins together, building a first contract that reflects your professionalism, your skill, and your power. I am honored to stand with you in this moment. You are ready, you are strong, and your voice matters. When we fight, we win. Louder. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. You guys got this.
Thank you everyone for joining us here today. That's the bulk of what we want to share with you, but we love hearing the individual messages of support. And all of you who are nurses, we're showing up this week. We're showing up strong. We're bringing a friend. We're offering childcare. We're providing snacks for those who work night shift but have to come in on an extra day. We are making this happen because their numbers will really matter.
That's right.
Let's go!